Hello, I'm going to talk a bit about using a ruler here. This is a ruler. We can drag this over, put it on a little plate. We can create other work planes, by the way, if we need to. We can use midpoints and things like that. There are other videos about that. But sometimes, see, if I click on this, it comes up with all the measurements of this, on the outside measurements. But say, for example, I wanted to almost, how am I going to get the thickness of this wall? That was one question I've seen. Well, one way to do it, there might be other ways, I don't know. Say bring in a cube. Let's get us somewhere near there. Or we can change the grid. We can change that right down. If you put it on off, I think it's 0.01. It will move, by the way. Quite often I'll put mine on 0.1. You can change the size of the bed size. See, mine's 245. And you can change whether you want inches or whatever. So let me click in this box here, and that's going to do like the X direction in this case. Let's try 3 just as a starter, and we can see that. Let's move it down. I'm using the cursor key now to move it towards me. I'm just going to move so that that edge is just about inside there. And now I can click on this and slowly drag it out. So that's, at least this will get us. Sometimes it can be a bit fiddly here with my mouse, but you get the idea there. Somewhere, it might be somewhere near, but I can go in this box and I can type in some numbers to try them. 58, say 458, 4.58, I should say. You see, that's just touching the inside there. See, sort of glinting in a way. The red, it's good to do a contrasting colour. 458 is too much. Let's go on there, take off that last number and do 4.56. Still too much. Let's try 50. 45. So we can say that that measurement is, well, if we want to be a bit more accurate, 46. Let's put another 5 on there. So it's rounding that up. So 446. So that's about the thickness of that wall there. Now, sometimes when you're moving about like this, like these like measurements sometimes can be like a bit of a nuisance. Sometimes you can lose like track, especially when you're zoomed in. Let's zoom in on this part here. Say I'm looking at this part, but all these like numbers in the background are being a bit of a nuisance, and I can't find where the sort of dismiss ruler is, and I don't want to move off this like image here. I want to keep this on the screen. By the way, we can knock that off there by clicking here. Sometimes you might accidentally click on the wrong thing. But one way to get rid of this sort of ruler around here that might be distracting is bring in another ruler, just stick it, say, in the center, and then we get the dismiss ruler, and that dismisses all the rulers. Now, I just want to talk a bit about rotations while I'm here. So I click on that, and then we've got different angles, well, different ways we can, well, directions we can rotate the object in. So you can click there, and I can rotate it, various angles. Now, if you hold Shift key and rotate, it'll move, I think it's 45 degrees at a stint. So let me do Control Z to get that back on. Control Z. So I'm going to hold Shift key, and it does 45, 90, 135, 180, minus 90, and so on, minus 45. So we can do a defined angle there, like 90s. Whoops, see, I've let go of that pretty quick. So sometimes you'll leave go of it. Let's do 90 degrees there. Okay. Now somebody has also asked about doing minus degrees. Well, fractions of a degree, because this you can do finer. Let me click on that again. Let me take this off here. You can drag your mouse. I'm dragging my mouse pointer further and further away. Now I can move like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1 degree sort of stints, I'm going to call it. Let me do this one, because I can probably drag that even further away. But there is a point where you can, so that's done 10, well, let's put on 11 degrees. There's a point where you can't drag it off the screen anymore and it will stop turning, I think. If you click on the arrow again, you can see I've come off that. I'm going to do, I can type in manually in the box minus 11. And that basically, well, in this case, puts it back to where it was, 11 degrees. But also I can type 11.45, like on there. And change this to, well, 55.47, say. So you can do part angles. That's one question somebody, I think, had problems with. Doing part angles like that when you're rotating and stuff like that. Another tip, sometimes you'll find it, you're wanting to remove, well, take certain parts out of an object or fit parts together, is, let's do this a bit actually. So do Control D there. Let's see, I'm trying to move there and I've got this on off. It is moving, but it's so small that you can't see it. Let's do, if you do that, it might be a good idea to do Control Z, because that moves it back into position where you started from. Now see how far that copy, that duplicate, Control D to duplicate. You can do it up here, by the way, has moved. What I want to do is fit this inside here. Say that's at that angle. I mean, I'd line it up whatever. This is just an example. So just turn that. Well, you need to get a copy. That's the position I want to fit it in. Click on both of them. Group them together. Now, depending how many models you've got on, I've got a lot of models on here and a lot of mathematics on here. So it's going to take quite a bit of time to remove that, make that into a whole sort of thing, delete that part from there. So I'll wait a bit and I'll come back. But see how it shows it in red? There it's done it. It wasn't too long. And now I've got this can sort of fit into here. Now, one thing you have to allow for is tolerances. So you might want to make this a little bit bigger. It's on 0.5. I don't want it on 0.5 when I'm doing that. So I'm going to do Shift and I'm going to make it, that makes it bigger. Clicking on the corner there makes it bigger in all the sizes. And then I would duplicate it just as I've done. Again, I'm on 0.1 millimeters, so it's moving slow. Let's do this. That's how much we're moving. Let's do one or two is pretty fast. And whichever one was bigger. Sometimes, again, there's no one thing I would like to see on TinkerCAD is to be like give things a name. But sometimes you can't give things a name, but you can do different colors. So you could say, right, that's a bigger one. This is a smaller one. The orange one is a bigger one, slightly. The green one is slightly smaller, whichever way around it is, if you get me meaning. And then we could say, right, turn that into a whole. And then highlight both of them, select both of them, group them both. And then that would allow your tolerances. Now, I'm only showing this briefly. I aren't, doing this like a real tolerance. That's just to give you an idea. I don't know if there's anything else I can think of with the ruler really. Now, sometimes also we might want to like measure the angles, like check the angles. So again, I'm going to bring in a square here, and it's just the same as what we did, well, similar to what we did earlier. Bring in a square, get it somewhere near the angle we want. Quickly bring this over here. And quite often I'll turn this into a hole, and then I'll go on point one. Point one is a pretty good measurement. I want to line it up with that side there. But you can see how it's like shading it out. So this is quite an awkward shape because it's got more than one angle on, I think. And I'm going to, quite often I'll just eyeball it, at least at first. But gradually I'll start rotating it again. If we click in the square, I think one is clockwise, generally speaking. Oh, that's going anti-clockwise. Sometimes it's an idea to put a big number in, well, a reasonably big number like 10 to see which way it's moving. And then you can take that way or do Control Z to put it back, so to speak. But you can line that edge up with that and then measure, what sort of angle it is. That can be a bit awkward to do, actually. Okay, so that's a bit about measuring. Well, it might give you some hint there as to angles. Let me go on the off because I want to move very, very fine. By the way, if you're finding it difficult to move, check that you've got this setting the size you want. You can go up to moving 5 millimeters at a time. Okay, now I've got that on off, so I can move very, very fine indeed.